I thought she was smarter, but fine. My voice remained unperturbed. Brenda raised her voice. Fine? Did you hear what I said? Yes, darling. This Friday you have a date with a man. And you don't mind? Her surprise was impossible not to notice. Of course I'm against it, but what choice do I have? As you noticed, I do not control you. You are on your own. Your voice and expression tell me that you are determined to see this through, so what choice do I have? I'll come back. Don't let your fragile male ego get in your way. I love you and I'll make it up to you, you'll see. So, you know this is wrong. Again, I kept my voice level and calm. What do you mean? I didn't say anything like that. I deserve this date. Our parents, yours and mine, will they agree with you? Brenda lowered her eyes and did not answer. A clear hint. I let that moment hang in her mind. It wasn't visible, but I knew she still had it. You know, and I know, that they won't understand this. You know you're doing wrong. You just said it. What? When? Why did you say that you would make amends to me? If this had been dinner with friends, you wouldn't have to make it up to me. Or if you went to get your hair cut. You only said that because you know what you're doing is wrong, and you know that makes you an evil person. There was uncertainty in her voice. But, you said I could do it? No, I have never said this and will never say this. All I've admitted is that I can't stop you. I certainly don't condone this in any way. I would like you to stay with me or go on a date with me. We can go to the same restaurant and then to the same dance club. But it's not about the food or the dancing, is it? It's a matter of the company you prefer. And this company is not me. You want to hear his name, am I right? Again, head lowered and silence. By the way, what is his name? It doesn't matter. Let's assume. I'm not going to argue about this. Whether you like the name Mr. Jerk doesn't matter. Just know that I don't want you to go out with Mr. Jerk, and going out with him on Friday will have consequences. What consequences? You are not only beautiful, you are also smart. I tell you these two things all the time. Obviously, you think I'm only saying this because I have to. This is wrong. I say this because I mean it. I'll leave it to you, smart woman, to deal with the consequences of Friday's date with Mr. Jerk. You're bluffing. You love me. You always give me what I want. Well, I want it. And like I said, I'll come back and we'll love each other and grow old together. I can't stop you from doing stupid things, but you have been warned. You're on your own. I stood up, grabbed the keys, and left before she could say anything else. The temperature in the apartment all this week was cool, to put it mildly. On Thursday evening, I packed my things and moved into the guest room. What are you doing, Rick? Stopping with an armful of clothes, I looked at her as if she were a 2-year-old child. It seems I greatly overestimated your intelligence. What does it look like? Are you moving? Yes, my wife wants to date other men. Do you think I'm going to sleep in the same room with my cheating wife? Dream on. Her voice sounded like a 5-year-old tease. You're such a stupid boy. You were afraid that his little figure would lose its shape. Without saying a word, I took this armful of things, hung them in the spare closet, and returned for a new batch. So now you're trying to punish the big bad witch with silence, she smirked. Do you see how pathetic you are? Consequences, was my only answer. She won't be able to say she wasn't warned. On Friday afternoon, I left early and went to an upscale salon where I got a professional modern haircut, a close shave with a straight razor and even a manicure. I bought a casually smart shirt, trousers, and jacket at my neighborhood men's store. I was thinking about getting new shoes, but decided that new shoes and dancing didn't go together, so I decided against it. On the way home, I stopped at a car wash and asked them to do a full cleaning. My truck didn't realize what hit it. At home, I took a shower, and when I heard that Brenda had come and showered, I went downstairs and waited. Half an hour later, she came down with a new bodice I had never seen before, several inches above the knee, and giving the world a kind and generous view of her cleavage. She stopped on the last step and looked at me as if expecting a compliment. When I remained silent, she looked at me a second time, and her eyes became like saucers. Damn it, You look great. Where are you going? There. What did you think? Imitating her condescending tone, I continued. That your weak, ignorant husband will just sit at home playing with his little baby and wait until her lecherous majesty deigns to appear? Shaking my head slowly, I opened the garage door and continued in a sharp tone. I thought you were smart. How wrong can a person be? Well, I don't want to be late. Charmaine can't stand it. As I got into my clean truck, I heard a scream and smiled. Gotcha. Charmaine and I had a fabulous evening at the wine bar, which served light dinners and had a live pianist on their small dance floor on the weekends. At work, we have already discovered that conversation flows easily between us. Even better, she appreciated my humor. Yes, it's a cliché, but it's true. Few things capture a guy's heart like a woman laughing at his jokes. Dancing together was like having sex with shoes on. We approached each other, and more than once our lips gently touched our ears, cheeks, and lips. Our bodies radiated magic as we pressed against each other. However, we knew that I was still married, and respected that. So we spent a long, leisurely evening drinking wine and letting our eyes play flirty games with each other as we chatted. Brenda, as I mentioned, is beautiful and passionate. However, the flip side of passion is jealousy, and I was pretty sure that the thought of me cavorting with Miss Dee Charmaine would drive her crazy and ruin the wonderful time she was looking forward to having with her new and horny Mr. Jerk. When I dropped Charmaine off at her apartment, she did me a favor by dripping a drop of her perfume onto my shirt and smearing her freshly painted lips onto my shirt collar, neck, and cheek. She kissed him on the cheek and said goodnight. Go and get her, Tiger. We laughed and I got in my truck and drove home. It was barely 10 when I walked into the Big Chill. Where the hell have you been? It's none of your business, I replied nonchalantly. You still haven't said where you went with your anonymous Mr. Jerk. I would ask you if he used protection, but I no longer care if you rot inside because I will never touch your vile, cheating body again. So, I don't care where you went, what you did, or with whom. I had a fantastic time, and I thank you very much for that. What kind of gratitude is this? Do you not understand? If you hadn't come up with the stupid idea to end our marriage, I would never have had the opportunity to get to know Charmaine better. What a woman. Hot. Very hot. So thank you, dear. Arj! Brenda screamed at the top of her lungs, making me wonder if the neighbor would call the police. You know I hate that bitch. Why do you think she was the first one I called? Stunned, she stared at me. What did you say? Once again, I seem to have overestimated your intelligence. Take a second, this isn't rocket science. You decide to reject me and rub my nose in it by dressing up for some anonymous asshole, wearing clothes you never wore for me, and you're surprised when I follow your lead. You renegotiated the terms of our marriage, despite my objections, and I simply did the same thing you did. The only difference is that I was honest enough to say who I left with. For some strange reason, you're too ashamed of your accomplices to name them. So, Miss Very Smart, what exactly is your problem? Before Brenda's eyes, the wind blew out of her sails, and 2 tears rolled down her cheeks. Without giving her a chance for a second wind, I continued. So, let me guess, Kevin South didn't get you tonight like he hoped. Another squeal, this time filled with pathos, filled the air, accompanied by the pressing of hands to the mouth. How do you know? In the voice of a game show announcer, I intoned, once again, the inadequacy of your mind is on full display. Think about it for once. You work in an office with at least 10 other women. Kevin is the biggest girl lover anyone has ever seen. Everyone there knows who is sleeping with whom, and they talk about it. You once did this too. So, did you even think for a second that you would be the exception? For over a month now, several of your so-called girlfriends have been telling me how you not only fell for Kevin's bullshit, but started looking for it, as one of your colleagues said. Who knows? Maybe he left her for you. Hell has no fury and all that. According to the gossip, he was going to make you his tonight. He even had a room at the Marriott. Apparently, he's spending his first night at the Marriott. After that, Motel number 6, or the woman's house. Didn't you know this? Her big eyes told me that she was shocked that she was made out to be ignorant, gullible, and such an easy target. She was overcome by a fit of crying. "Oh, Rick, sorry. You're right, I'm such a fool. How can you stand being married to a stupid bitch like me?" "Ah, Brenda. Good news. I don't have to continue this. I don't need to stay married to your stupid, stinking ass. You will be served tomorrow after breakfast. We're renting this house and we have 3 more months left, so you can extend your lease or use this time to find something you like better." "Where will you go?" she asked in a quiet voice. "Charmaine said I could stay with her while I figure something out. She has a second bedroom, which she uses as an office. Once I submit my application," she said, "we can discuss better terms." When I told her I was applying tomorrow, she laid out these terms. Good ones. I can't wait to explore them more. We'll just divide everything else that you and I have in half. Now you can have sex with whoever you want without having to put up with crap from a weakling husband. I hope Kevin is worth it. I met with some of the other husbands who were victims of Kevin, aka Mr. Jerk. One night after dinner, he discovered that his car had been vandalized. The windows were broken, the paint was scratched, there was baby poop all over the seats, the wheels were stolen, and I forget what else. While he was inspecting the damage, 3 masked men, all dressed in black, robbed him without a word and beat him severely. Police were baffled as to why thieves after his wallet and fake Rolex had pulverized his family jewels, but with no witnesses and paint splattered on the parking lot cameras. They had little to go on. At this time, the 4 spouses of his victims were playing poker in one of their houses. After he recovered, he moved out of state. No one knows, or no one cares, where exactly. Brenda moved out, found an apartment. But when she realized that I was happily attached to Charmaine, she also left the state. I never saw her again. I lived with Charmaine for a while, but we mutually decided that short-term fun didn't necessarily lead to long-term compatibility, so I moved out and found a townhouse close to work. As I got older, wiser, and fitter, I found a good connection with a fellow gym member. One thing led to another, as it usually does in such moments, and I found happiness with a woman who had real brains between her ears and devotion in her heart.